Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to some more Bazaar. We're going to be doing some more dually runs today, of course. Apologize for being gone. I was a bit busy this weekend. Oh, looks like we might be doing a defense grid force field build. Those are always fun. Yeah, I just had like some guests over and it was kind of awkward just be like, oh yeah, let me just go record some of this video game for a while. So we're going to start with rocket launcher. It's usually a pretty good opening item. Even though I don't have a good skill to support it, it's just generally pretty strong. We'll go for Viper, also a very strong item. Enemy. It has Foxavang, of course, which is quite good, and then Lash Out is excellent. And we should be able to kill him, no problem. I'm hoping for some upgrades for the rocket launcher, or maybe like a drill or something to work well with it before we get our first fight. But we'll see, we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Lash Out, very nice. Might help us win the first day fight quite often. Aiden, love myself some Aiden, and we'll grab this for a little bit of extra burn, help it stack. I don't know if it'll fully stack. I suspect it won't, but at the very least we will have a little bit better burning. We'll of course take the XP because with the new changes it's very important to get to level 3 before your fight on day 2, because that's where you'll get your core, which makes a gigantic difference in that fight. So this is just Refractor with Fiery Venom and Ruby. I think we win this. This will be pretty scary later, but it's just a little slow for day 1 with these two. Probably. Anyway, I might regret that because he does a 4 regen, which is pretty scary. Hopefully it will be. I mean, it worked better than I thought it would, to be honest. Their build, I mean, not mine. My build was fine. There we go. It was close, but we got there. So they did technically, like, buff these, but only at higher levels. So at lower, they're pretty garbage, but that's okay. Any bronze skills? I'll take Right Eye because it is at least useful with the build that we're going to be aiming for, which is Force Field. Crypto at 3. We'll wait. I can get a little bit more on it. Microdave. I guess we'll lean into the burn setup we've got going on here and put in Microdave. He's not amazing with the other items I have, but he's at least okay. I'll take the haste item. GPU, completely worthless before you get the core, but that's alright. This should beat Scrapper. Got a bunch of extra shield from Defense Grid and Induction Aegis, and then we should be stacking burn at this point, I would hope. We'll see, we'll see. Regardless, I do think this, though. He's not too hard. Yeah, we're stacking a little bit. We should be fine. So Force Field build, there hasn't been too much, hasn't really been much change with it in the newest patch. You can do some fun stuff with the new, like the core or the crit core. Because both are quite strong with it now. So we'll probably grab one of those. I could also just grab, like Ignition, because we've been kind of got a burn thing going on here, but we'll see, we'll see. I've been liking crit core quite a bit though, so we might grab that instead. Even though it doesn't like match the overall theme we've got going on. I'll sell it for 4. I will use that just on Aiden. More XP. We're gonna look for small items because I do need to grab a battery. Arc Blaster's also very good now. We'll take Arc Blaster and Light Bulb because they're both tech items and the tech package overall is quite strong at this point. I'll check Midsworth. He could have some good stuff. He doesn't usually. Actually, this is actually worth upgrading now. You can see it didn't do anything, but it did lower the cooldown, which is quite nice. Let's see what cores we get. So we didn't actually get the Ignition core, so that kind of removes that decision from me. Kind of gets rid of that decision. So now we're basically picking between the core and crit core, and I think I like crit core a little better here. There's a ton of ways to enable the defense grid without needing the core, although it is nice. But crit core has some good stat buffing, which can be quite nice. And it means you don't specifically have to find security camera, which can let you save a bit of money. It can also let you use it with security camera so that you have like full crit rate, stuff like that. Okay, so this guy's got pretty strong build. He might beat us. It depends how much we crit. That was a fair amount of critting, so we might be okay. The extra defenses were pretty strong, but okay, we got there. Saved by defense grid, I think. Yeah. Yeah, so it's 140 and we had 144 health, but it also have the burn damage for the first part, so. Defense grid, always good. Even if you're not going for a force field build, it's pretty strong. Check here, because we could just get it right away. We didn't. We'll skip these and look at the next tier, because, yeah, I was going to say, it's fairly likely that you get this bad boy here. All right, do we have enough? So we need $6 more. Yeah, 6 gold. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be enough gold. So we'll sell our burn package and grab the defense grid. Not defense grid, the force field. We'll just pop in a bunch of this stuff here. So this kind of thing is like our backup for after the defense grid inevitably fails. Oh, we gotta put this on the far right. There we go. Inevitably fails to kill them at this point in the game. Check skills as well, because there could be some good ones. Not a good one, but we'll grab it. Do we kill this? I think we do. It's a little spooky, but I think we get him. So the way this works is, defense grid triggers when our first item goes off, gives us a bunch of shield, and then you just hit them with that, essentially. And we're hoping it crits, because it does like a ton of damage on crit. Altogether pretty straightforward. It doesn't do too much after the initial burst, but it's kind of what our items on the left here are for. So pretty clean. How much you want from this guy? The Eagle Talisman, I was going to say, is probably one of our best pickups because you really, really want crit on this guy. And we'll take the extra XP. You really want XP with this, or like levels specifically with this setup, because defense grid scales with your HP. When you level up, you get more HP, etc. Actually gonna level, I guess Aiden, he just held a level. The other one would have been Light Bulb for the extra crit chance, but I don't think we'll need it over time. Gonna get some more HP, of course. Don't really have any weapons we want at this point in time. We're mainly looking for things like bunker, battery, stuff like that. The reason we want batteries because it goes off at 4 seconds and then it instantly triggers your defense grid, which is quite nice. We could also use like the sword and shield. Be pretty strong. Okay, they don't have anything that goes off at 5 seconds, so we should be safe here. Because our main concern right now is if something triggers between 4 and 5, it'll hit our shield before we get to fire, which can lower our damage quite a bit. And that's the main thing battery does, is it removes that gap and makes it much safer. Not really any friends we're looking for here. We are going to go and check out shield items, because there's a few that we could get. I don't think that one's going to help us out here, but it might give us some free money if we just leave it around. There's battery, very nice. And we also got defense grid, also very nice. Our crit is 63, which is pretty strong, and I'm going to sell the GPU for a little bit better crit chance. So we're kind of all in on the force field at this point. I think we kill this guy, shouldn't be a problem. We really need the XP, of course. As long as this crits, we should be alright. Yeah, here we go. Easy peasy. And then we're looking for some good enchants on this at this point. Bunker. And we're pretty much done. It's a fairly straightforward build. Not too much to it, but it is quite powerful. Reserve shield can be good. It gives us kind of like an extra bit if we have to do a second shot, but I think initial chill is probably better. It gives us some freeze when this goes off, which is quite helpful. Because it can, I think freeze is better for buying us time to make the second shot rather than just hoping our shield lasts through a whole cycle. Nothing we really want here. Bugs. I mean, you can like collect bugs as a backup in case your main plan doesn't work out, but I think we're fine.
You should know, I'm a bit of a legend on Pelago.
Okay, what do we got here? So it's just a weapon vest. So these have been pretty common lately. Just, you know, shark claws, a bunch of weapons. They also have like a little bit of a burn package here, but no problem. Got the crit. 67, so about 2/3 of the time we'll be critting. Pretty reasonable. And even when we don't, it still does a pretty big chunk of damage. Main goal, getting this up to 100% crit if possible, and then giving it like multicast or multiplying the damage with like an obsidian enchant or something. Do we want... I think we just go for more HP at this point. We don't really need too much, any silver items. This bunker starts at gold, so that's the main thing we're going to be looking for right now. Don't really want any of these. Nothing to reroll either, so I think we just take the regen. It's a bit lame, but, you know, this is what it is. And we're mainly going to be taking the max XP every time. There's very few instances where we'll want the other item. There's a couple, but not a ton. I'd love to upgrade the battery for that second shot as well. Although our priority to upgrade is definitely going to be crit core because it gives a ton of free stats. Although at this rate, maybe we won't need it. That's quite good. Already up to 73. We don't really want a shield item. We're gonna go here and check for any like battery upgrades or similar. This one's also very good because we could potentially make it go off instantly. Well, not instantly, but extremely quickly at some point with this. And do we want the extra? Yeah, I think we want the extra crit from the light bulb. Doesn't hurt to have. We'll eventually probably sell that because we won't need it anymore, but in the meantime, it'll be reasonable. Upgrade the camera for an extra, I believe, 10% crit. There we go. 83, so we're in a pretty good position here.
My fight isn't with you, but if you insist.
We shall see. So this is a shark. I've been seeing a ton of these, like shark ray with dive weights and beach ball. Seems like it's pretty popular, and it's killed me quite a few times, so pretty strong build at this point. Yeah, see, we get the freeze, which lets us
Like my crew says at the
freeze
bar,
their main weapon. It doesn't always freeze the main weapon, but it's a pretty good freeze. So, guys, it's time for the second shot. Very nice. Other things that would be good if we go to like pearls, we could get something like belt from pig, stuff like that. So it's always a shame to. So this one's like a huge damage increase for force field, but it doesn't. It's on your next fight. So if you get it in the first half of the day, it gets wasted on PvE. So only really useful if you get it in the later half. Sadly, we are pretty poor at this point, so I'm just gonna be buying some chocolate bars. The crypto has saved us. We're no longer poor. So I'll check out JJ. Nothing there. That would be great for if I was doing a bug setup though on day 6. Take schematics. It's good income, and there are a few good items there that I could use. Yes, the main thing we also an Uzi would be excellent because you can use an Uzi with the what's that thing called? With the fiber optics in order to trigger it even faster than the battery. Because if you can get the fiber to 2, and then you can get the force field down to 4 with like the shield and sword or just feathers and stuff, then it goes off instantly at 2 seconds instead of 4, which is quite strong. This upgrade will just go into the crit core. Gives us an extra 15% crit chance, which is quite nice. There. The 98 already. Pretty good. We'll see if we miss one for the rest of the run. It's very possible, but hopefully not. One more Eagle Talisman, come on, and then we can start, like, if we get high enough, we can ditch the, a lot of the other stuff. Obsidian Fang, not really what we're looking for. I can use that instead of Uzi with, fiber if we need to, but for now. Oh, I thought that was, for a second I thought that was a Lich skill, but sadly not. None of those are good for us, so we'll skip. So this one is a very good skill, but oh, my cat's being bad and she's on my desk. Stormy, what are you doing? Get down. Get down. Alright. Sorry about that. Alright, region's probably not gonna help us. So Rush could be good, but it's also scary. Because if it hits force field and it goes off before battery, then we have an issue, right? I think I just skip. It's a little too scary for me to take that. I'm sure there are ways to make it work, like if you take atomic clock, things of that sort, but I'm a big old chicken, so we're just gonna play it safe. Take the haste. Command ship is actually pretty good now. The reason is because thrusters, after their rework, now make an item a vehicle, so I could put that on the core or on Aiden or something, and then suddenly everything else has 15% cooldown reduction, so it's very, very strong.
Bring her about. I've got another salvo in
Bonk, bonk, bonk. And a lot of builds right now will be like counter builds, so they'll be like bees or electric eels, things like that, to counter things like drill or bugs or any of the other fast firing builds. And ours is it's just one big hit, so I don't think there's any stealth stuff we would want. No. Like, she's got like one good item right now because she hasn't really been worked on a ton, so. Nothing really we're looking for in there. Again, we're mainly looking for like thrusters would be great, battery upgrades, stuff like that. We'll take treasure turtle. The skill here would be amazing as like a backup. Because if, this is a little scary now. Because if the force field, okay, it still worked. If the force field failed, like the initial hit, then we would have the backup of bunker to potentially get one last shot in. Extra shield, not super impactful, but not terrible. Large items, there could be bunker, so we're checking. No bunker. Sadly, defense matrix is does not work how you would like it to. It doesn't trigger before that goes off, so it doesn't really do a ton. Oh, we got thrusters. Look at that. So if I pop thrusters here on Aiden, you can see now it goes down to 3.4 and 4.3. So this will trigger and then immediately fire off the force field even faster now, which is very nice. I'll also put it here so that Aiden fires pretty quick as well. I'll take that. He's kind of like my backup in case the battery gets frozen or something. And we'll look for it. So it's really not worth upgrading. It only gives it 10 extra shield, which is whatever. No bunker. We skip. We skip.
When we are finished, may I dissect you for study?
Something to note if you're using thrusters with command ship. So command ship is specifically if you have a vehicle, reduce your non-vehicle cooldowns. So security camera is unaffected by, I mean, it still gets the 5% from thrusters, but it doesn't get the command ship. So just something to be aware of. So like don't put thrusters on the items that you're trying to reduce the cooldown of. Put it on something pointless, essentially. Unless you have like a really good thrusters, and then it'll be like the same. But, you know, just something to consider. So we're just mostly going to keep hunting for our upgrades. Not a very exciting build, but always fun to just kind of roll your way to victory. We'll check here because there could be like scrap. There could be security cameras. So we could use charging station for even faster startups. I'm gonna grab it because charging station plus fiber, we could potentially do something cool there. So our fastest one is 3 right now. So it'd be like +1, so 2 seconds. Okay, let's take a look at it here. Need arc blast, don't need Wallace. Pop everything out except what we're gonna be using. Be something like this, and it would go off 3, 4, 5. So this would set it off at 3. It is not better than our current setup because we lose a bunch of crit, but it is something to consider for the future in case it's needed. There we go. So we still need these for the huge amount of crit they provide, which makes it a little bit harder to run that. But our conductor could give us a command ship upgrade, but I think we're just going to go for XP because that'll give us our enchant, which pretty important for a force field, especially in the end game kind of situations, although I don't know if we're getting to those. The any of the damage increasing ones are good. The main things you want to avoid are like slow isn't amazing. Heal and shield, not great. Actually, they're pretty bad. That's about it. Yeah, radiant is okay. Like if I roll radiant, I'm okay with it, but I would prefer. It's okay. It could definitely be worse. Let's put it that way. It could definitely be worse. So Probably never using light bulb. I'm gonna grab... No. We'll keep hunting for bunker. Nothing there. The main other thing we might want to grab is like Uzi, just for the instant start. Well, not instant, but very fast start. If we can get enough crit. Don't want any of those. I do love nitrogen hammer. I want to run some more builds with it, but I think what we got right now is quite good. So we'll stick with it. Power drill with cloaks. He's got like just a standard power drill set up. He's trying to burn us. He doesn't have a ton of like crowd control, so even if we fail here, I think we're fine. Yep, and the poison is pretty good. It's not like... It's not as good as something like obsidian, but I think it's reasonable enough. I won't reroll this if we do get another enchant, most likely.
Cast aside your deathstruments.
Nothing good, nothing good. Metronome's okay, but I don't really have a ton of room for it right now, so we'll skip.
I feel like that decision comes from a negative place.
A lot of chances for bunker, but we've yet to find it. That's a very nice pickup. It doesn't do anything for our initial shot, but on like a later one, it works. And then we could potentially, eventually, if we lower force field enough, we can have this basically instantly fired again. That's kind of how the old force field build used to work. Defense grid used to trigger at the start of combat instead of on first item use. So and then force field was 4 seconds, and so is battery. So you'd get like a diamond battery, force field goes off, and it just double fires because the battery instantly charges it again. It was very strong. This new variant is also quite strong, and it has less weaknesses because of the battery force or defense grid setup. So we'll take crit. We're gonna look for the big item crit skill. We didn't get it. We'll just take an extra 8%, so now we're at 100%. Very nice. So I could go for pearls, or I could look for bunker. I'm gonna look for bunker. I know it's the less exciting option, but we didn't have a ton of money, and we whiffed. That's okay. Maybe JJ will have it for us. Nope. That's a pretty nice one. So we got SATCOM from schematics, which will generate us even more money. I don't think we'll need it, because we're kind of only looking for like 1 or 2 items at this point, but not a big deal.
We're out to dethrone a king, not to squabble with nobody.
This is another, like a catfish carry build, so they're doing like dive weights to try to spam onto catfish. So we did whiff, but
Defeat does
it
not
didn't matter. They had no
defeat
direct
me.
damage to get rid of my shield anyway, other than a little bit of burn there, so totally fine. The diamond fangs with dive weights and catfish is kind of terrifying. 2.6 seconds. That would kill a lot of builds, but we're running one of the strongest ones in the game. Yeah, this build is like thoroughly ridiculous. The only reason it's not like all over the place is because it relies on one specific skill that you can't always get. So you don't see it all the time, but it is pretty commonly used once you see that. I think we just keep dumping these on this so I can eventually drop security camera, because we're already pretty close.
Nothing tiny, nothing huge. All
Because it would let me drop security camera to add like bunker, or I could set up like the charging station kind of nonsense. So there's a couple options. Void energy is also pretty strong here, because then we could use, I think I kept the nitro. If I sold it, that's a little sad, but you can use it with nitro for another fast start option. Because when you burn, charge a shield, so you get rid of security camera, and then it always goes on force field. And then, sadly, we did not get that option. That's okay. I did get rid of the nitro, but that's alright. And then we'll upgrade our crit core for another 15, which lets us get rid of security camera. See, we're at 130, so no longer needed. And now I can sort of look into stuff like put in charging station. Maybe just something like that. I don't think it's needed currently, but it is at the very least beneficial. Put it in there for now. Upgrading like charging station or Fiber optics is also a consideration, but I think just making sure that we have the full crit chance before we start messing with that is more important. And in any case, I think it won't matter because we're on a, we're pretty far ahead of the normal day 10 curve here, so fairly lucky setup, but nothing like too high roll. It's just pretty standard toxic force field build. So it's pretty fun. Yep, there it goes. Still was a fun build. Hopefully you all enjoyed watching me just completely stomp for a perfect victory. I don't really get too many of these. And yeah, sorry about being gone for a few days. I'm gonna be hopefully streaming again this week and making some more videos. Just had people over this weekend, and I'm gonna try to start getting a backlog ready as well, so that I can not have this situation come up again. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a lovely day. And I'll see you in the next one.